fucking diseased, corrupt temple down on your head. It's gotta be biblical.
Hello, gang. Welcome to Patriots Across the Pond, a bit of Thursday Thunder, episode 30. Today, we've got an amazing guest on who's put in so much work to build up his site, QAGG.NEWS. So we're going to be having a little run through that site today, all the ins and outs of it that we can. We've got about an hour and, we're going to a bit of Phil's history and his awakening journey. But Elisa, how are you? And Phil, welcome to our show. It's great to have you.
Glad to have you here, Phil.
Oh, great to be here.
Good. So it's customary with all our guests that we just, you take a bit of time and just tell us all how, your history, how your awakening happened and, up until this point and, starting off with your site and getting into Q, etc.
Well, I mean, it's been, I will say this, it's been a crazy journey. I mean, we're at, 10 years into Trump. I came to Q mid 2018. My wife at the time, that's a whole separate story, had been seeing stuff popping up on Facebook, like since January of 2017 or 2018. And she had been discounting it. And she finally showed it to me middle of 2018. And I'm like, that's real. I mean, it didn't take long at all for me to recognize that's something. So I immediately started watching. I mean, at the time, there were dozens of shows on YouTube before they all got axed. And I was just, I buy, I guess you'd say by trade, I work in the tech industry. And at the time, I happened to be doing product management work. So it's like I was just able to see all these things that these people were doing and how much time they were spending on doing what I call menial tasks, like calculating time differences, things like that. And I'm like, well, I could build a site to help at least shortcut some of the work without interfering with what they're doing. So that was kind of the genesis of the idea. I was just seeing all these shows, all these decodes being done. And I'm like, well, I can start simple and work from there. So, I literally, this is kind of ironic. At the time when journalists were starting to tell people learn to code, I literally in the beginning of 2019 learned to code, like officially. I mean, I've been running servers, doing operations work, that kind of stuff for years. I'd write little maintenance scripts, stuff like that. Nothing on this order. But by November 2019, I had launched literally my own platform. And that's kind of where it all started. And I only had a couple of simple features. It's like I had delta calculations and like one or two other things on there. And it kept growing over the years. It's like I pretty soon figured out, people are doing all these decodes against like Scavino and Trump. So I set out to start collecting all the tweets by these guys. I mean, and as far as I'm aware, I have probably one of the most accurate Trump Twitter archives on the internet. Because I even have ones that the quote unquote Trump Twitter archive dot whatever it is. I have more tweets than that guy does. So that just kind of got folded in naturally. And then early 2022, they're announcing True Social because Trump had been banned from Twitter. And I'm like, oh, this will be interesting. And I was debating whether or not to sign up for it. And I finally threw my hat into the ring literally the day before their beta started on February 9th in 2022. I literally signed up at like 10 o'clock at night, and by 1 in the morning, I actually was already in the first wave of the beta testers. So it's like, Monday rolls around, like 1,000 of us get onto True Social and, start looking at what Trump's saying and all this stuff. And I, being me, I start reverse engineering the platform. And at that time, it was only a phone app, but it's like I knew the open source software they were using. I'm like, well, they got to have a web interface somewhere. So I figured out how the phone app was getting to the interface, and everything else was being blocked. And by Tuesday, I had written my scraping system for True Social. And it was kind of funny. People on 8chan doubted I was actually scraping things. I mean, they had no idea it was the real thing until like through the next few weeks, more and more people got let in and said, yeah, no, QAGG's accurate. He's like actually scraping this stuff. So that's how it kind of evolved. It was just like natural progressions of things. And over time, I added more capabilities because I could see more things people were doing. It's just like every time I watched more decodes and then more people doing more decode work, I'm like, oh, I can turn that into a feature so they don't have to spend hours doing menial work for something that's technically very simple to do. And that's kind of where it stands today is, it's functional. I'm pulling in True Social stuff. I'm pulling in tweets again, finally, just collecting this information for people to use as they need to.
Yeah, that's perfect. I mean, your aggregates, there's a few aggregate sites out there, but yours is particularly special. But it's, if anyone's been on 4chan, 8chan and 8kun on the actual like Q research boards and stuff like that, it's very interesting, but I still don't know how to use it properly. I can put a post on there and stuff like that, but I have to sit there monitoring it. I don't know how to get notifications if someone's replied to my post or anything like that. So your sites, these aggregator sites, are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, I know, I know the other people that are still out there put a lot of work into their sites. And I just, I actually had a Twitter thread up years ago before my account got axed, before, the big axing in January of 2021.
Yeah.
I had a nice thread up of all the sites, because it's like I wasn't setting out to compete with anyone. Mine, I deliberately took it a different direction. I just wanted to help all the diggers and decoders slice and dice the data faster, and that's pretty much where I said, I tell people, it's like, look, if you're going to send a beginner to my site, don't send it to one of the other people, because their sites are easier, and they weren't designed for the level of analysis mine is. So, go to QAGG.NEWS. I think they're still there. And I know QAlerts.app is still out there, or .net, or, he's got a few domain names to get around bans here and there. But both those platforms are great for beginners. Mine is not a beginner-friendly platform in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. I mean, I mentioned to you in the back room that I always used to use qmap.pub, which was created in about 2018, I think. And then I can't remember when that got shut down, 2020, 21, something
It got
like
shut
that.
down. It got shut down about halfway through the year in 2020.
Yeah. And then, when did you actually create your QAGG site?
I started building it in early 2019, officially launched in November of 2019, like literally right as Q returned. After that long break since August, since 8chan had also gone down.
Yeah. Perfect. Okay. Elisa, you got any questions?
No, I'm just, my journey with Q, I was a little late, probably like 2020, during during the election time. And clearly, I guess I relied on a lot of the decoders, and learned a lot from what people were doing, and obviously using your site through the years to do that. But I'm amazed when I was watching you on one of the other shows. I think it might have been Dave and Rambo, I'm not sure. And just how proficient, what I was really struck with was how you do this to help. It's not like you're doing this to make a profit and make money, as so many of us, like, where's the money, right? We're doing it to get the
I'm definitely not doing this to make money.
Exactly. And it just shows like the amount of time and effort and part of you that you put into this to help the community and help really humanity to understand what's really going on. So just, kudos and lots of love to you for that.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of funny because it's like somebody, like, I don't know, 6 months ago asked me, it's like, well, how much time do you really have into this platform? And I sat down and did the rough math. I mean, basically, like once I started building it, I was spending probably 30 to 40 hours a week. Through 2020 to like 2022, I probably put in several thousand more hours. I was basically working 2 full-time jobs, my day job plus the site, because I was just adding and restructuring so many things into the site. So there's definitely a lot of time invested into this.
Yeah. It's obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I know I was listening to Dave Rambo's show. I know how many thousands of pounds you put it into yourself, and I think it was wonderful those guys to sort of, and it's a bit of Parade, wasn't it? I think was involved in that set up a GoFundMe for you, and you've recouped a bit of money, which is absolutely amazing. And I had a little word with you privately, didn't I, about maybe trying to get a little PDF document together or something like that, giving people instructions to how to go through the site. I know some people like visually and some people like to read because it's much easier if it's there for people in front of them. But yeah.
I mean, and that PDF is still on the to-do list.
Yeah,
it's just what I did with the donations that came in. So I mean, as both of you I'm sure know by now, like one of the main focuses of some of the Q drops is saving the children. Talking about and showing what's been going on.
Yeah.
And since 2024, well, actually, starting in late 2023, really picking up speed mid 2024, I really leaned in heavily into that mission. And to that end, over the past, what are we at? Like 8 months now, 9 months now, I've actually launched, what are we up to? 4 new sites now. So the first one is what I call the Teacher Accountability System. It's TAS.NEWS. And what I do at that site is, I think I'm up to 5 countries now, but I basically track public records, public news announcements of teachers being arrested, charged, convicted for various things against children. So that was the first one. And then the second one I fired up is called CAS.NEWS. And that one is devoted to the CPS industry in the United States. And I just launched a third one. I think we're like at 6 weeks ago now. CSAS.News, which is Civil Servant Accountability System. And that one tracks basically all the people who operate in the public trust in some degree or another, who have been caught or accused of doing bad things against children specifically. So like lawyers, judges, police officers. I mean, in the database, we've got a ton of clergy. We've got actual FBI agents in there, actual judges at the state and federal levels, lawyers, doctors. I mean, basically anybody who, like I said, operates in some degree of public trust goes into that database, and it just crossed over. We've got over 1,000 in there as of yesterday. So basically, this is just stuff people can use to identify what's going on in their area, or in the case of Taz, people can identify, oh, well, that was my child's teacher 2 years ago. So now that's a conversation they can have with their child to verify, did anything happen? I mean, the goal is basically creating more awareness and more ability for parents to see things. And one of the other things I'm doing with Taz is I've got some parents' guides for the United States, like how do you deal with the reporting process if you suspect something in your state in the United States. So it's kind of evolving as things go along. And this is one of the reasons why I run such a high AI bill, is because this is the kind of stuff I'm doing. I'm basically trying to advocate for the parents. And the fourth site in this is called SchoolData.NEWS. And what I did there is I literally pulled together all of the federal databases. I pulled together like 10 federal databases that have never been joined before. And on SchoolData.NEWS, you can basically dig through your public school district's financial information. And in the case of 26 states, I also have property tax information available, so you can see what you're paying for this, as well as like school staff breakdown. Who's getting, How many people are in the teacher category? How many people are in the non-teaching support category, administrative, all that kind of stuff? You can dig through it, and you can even compare your district to another district in the same state or another district in another state if you want to. So you can see, and the other thing I integrated into there is the national test scores. So I've got like the state numbers and then the national numbers in there, and you can see it's like, okay, they're spending more money, but the test scores are still going down. Which obviously doesn't make sense. So I spent a lot of time collecting all this information and getting it published. So it's like, especially when some of those donations came in, that's what I did with them. Is I went out, rented a new server for a year. First time I've been able to do that. And then I built school data and got it published within literally a week of those donations. So that's what I do with my time now. Is I find new ways to help parents and people understand, what's going on around them.
Yeah, amazing work. Elisa, muted.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry. My landscaper, no matter how many times I ask him, he always has to come at this time. But what I wanted to ask you was, particularly with all of these sites just sound so amazing. So is this something that that you're coordinating in any way? Like, in other words, how are you getting, I don't even mean coordinating, how are you getting the word out? Because people need to know about these sites. So is it through going on podcasts and different shows? Because I think if people knew that they could begin to tap into a system that has this aggregated information, that's going to just, I think, start to just get more and more and more, and people are going to share it. And I don't know, you're a parent, right? You have a daughter.
Yes.
Yes.
I have two sons actually, but yeah, I am a parent.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, you have two children. So you know how on Facebook, I'll just use that as an example, there's all these moms and dads of this town and moms and dads of that town, and you put like one thing on that and it just goes like everybody knows it.
Yep.
So I'm just wondering, and of course, I just think everybody in this community should be supporting your effort in any way they can, but it would seem like we want to get this really viral, right?
Yeah, and to that end, I have gone on a number of shows, just to get the word out, and I think we're finally starting to get close to critical mass because we've gotten the attention of a few state reps here and there. So it's I hope it's just a matter of time before like more and more people. I mean, we have a few people who tell us, because I do have one person helping with that site, helping maintain it. We are starting to see more uptake, and we are starting to see more people take notice. We have a few people who either are or have been candidates for various state offices take notice and start talking about it. So, I mean, it is getting word of mouth. And at the same time, and up until when I started doing this, like I think 2 months ago, for the first time in my life, I'm actually lobbying the U.S. Congress, because there are so many holes in this system, as it pertains to keeping children safe from teachers.
Yeah.
That I think a national law is warranted, or possibly encouraging all 50 states to pass this law on their own, because a lot of the information that I've collected just isn't obvious anywhere. I mean, one of the reports I built, I think like about 3 months ago, I wanted to know, it's like, how easy is it for parents to find all this information I'm digging up? And what I found out is that out of all 50 US states and the District of Columbia, there are only 6 states with what I would call a usable portal for them to look up their children's teachers.
Wow.
If you go to like the state of New Jersey, you have to have not only the teacher's name, but their date of birth and the last 4 of their social security number to look them up. Now, what parent is going to have access to that information?
Right.
None.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just, the more I did, it's one of those cases of the more you dig, the less you like what you're finding. So the more information I'm trying to expose. So it's like, I very much, if I'm not doing my day job, I'm spending time figuring out, okay, do I need to add something to the system? And it's like the system has actually grown a fair bit since I first created it. Like the TAS one especially. I just got done linking all three systems. So if, we had one case like a month and a half ago where we caught somebody in Arizona working inside CPS in Arizona. They were approved, but they had just gotten done getting kicked out of California and losing their teaching license because of inappropriate things to children. And yet here they are in Arizona being allowed to operate in a CPS capacity, once again, with children.
Yeah. Two things come to mind. We just had on Monday, we had a guest, Michelle Peterson. I don't know if you know her. She has, worked so hard since I guess now it's like going on like almost 15 years, right, Stu? Trying to get her son was groomed by a teacher, and so she was the one who actually was able to get the first anti-grooming law passed. And since that time, she's gone to the states. So many of the states have adopted it too, slight differences here and there. However, her goal is to have a national law and then move it internationally. Now, part of it is in definitions, right? Like what's an authority figure and all this kind of stuff that she's working through. But the interesting thing is that she was told by the authorities that it's her law that they are using as precedent in order to help them, get and move these cases through. So my point to you is she sounds like a person that probably would be really good for your team, if you will, since she's really been through the ringer and kind of knows a lot of the ins and outs. But the other thing, we have to also think about, not that in any way do we want to protect any of these vile people, but think about, just from your own experience growing up and now with your kids, there's so many teachers and educators that are so dedicated, so good. They go out of their way. They put in many more hours than they're being paid for. And it's like a slippery slope. Like, how do you get access to the right information for the wrong people and not have, it's almost like it reminds me of TSA, right? I mean, of course, that's a whole other thing. But you have grannies and people that are just with kids, and they're forced to, have their Fourth Amendment right violated when, maybe there's just like one or two people here or there that are the assholes that have to be. So it's kind of like, how do we really get to target the right people and then let the other people flourish and not feel diminished that, oh, I'm under the microscope and I'm not doing I'm not doing anything, and everybody has access to my information. So that would be a challenge, I would think, too, right?
Awareness is a big part of the battle. And it's like some teachers are definitely aware of what's going on with children. The problem is, it's like a lot of the quote unquote good teachers are fighting an uphill battle because the unions don't like all of the accountability many of us are trying to bring at both the local and national level. And obviously, like, teachers unions lean heavily left, heavily Democratic.
Yes.
So they especially don't want the accountability because it shines lights on other things that they don't want made visible. I mean, it's kind of funny because, like, okay, for instance, one of the cases that frequently happens is what we call passing the trash. And the process is, okay, teacher gets accused in some state, in some district. Okay, investigation's open, and then the teacher says, okay, fine, I surrender my license, and they leave, and then the investigation closes with no conclusions. No police report, no nothing. And then that person ends up in another state, once again teaching, and there's no way to find out what they had done because in many cases those records get sealed. Like, and especially if like a lawsuit was created and settled, there are NDAs signed, so you can't find out what happened. And to that end, basically, there are so many teachers in the system that have been passed around so many times, but their records look clean because there's nothing official on the record, no record of the investigation being opened or why they surrendered their license.
See, that's where the key of where you have to get it. Because just like with the Catholic Church, with the priests and everything, that's what was going on, right? I don't know if you saw the movie Spotlight. It really kind of shown, right? When they finally got that book or whatever it was, in the movie, of course, they make it simple. They were able to track and say, this guy was here, and then he moved here, and then he was here. Like, why is he being moved around? And then they discovered those like safe houses. So it's really at that point, why Why is a record if you have done something like this, why is that being covered up? I mean, I'm saying it rhetorically, but because that's really where the problem stems. You don't have to interrogate people that are good people. You have the source of where the bad is started, and they just pass them around. Like, that is so, to me, disgusting, whoever makes those decisions.
Well, I mean, that's largely union. And see, here's the other thing. It's like, if people, the other quote unquote problem public schools have is, if you take your child out of that school and move them somewhere else, in most cases, you're allowed to do that now in most states, because of school choice laws.
Right.
That school loses money. So now, all of a sudden, if a bunch of people find out something bad happened at this school, parents move their children out of it, that school loses money.
Yeah.
And that they don't want to lose the money, so they have an impetus to make sure it gets swept under the rug as quickly as possible.
No, I mean, I get it. I'm just saying, it's just you're in the business of supposedly trying to, educate and do good for kids, and you're kind of doing the opposite. So it's and let me tell you, you're talking about the public schools. My kids went all through parochial schools, and this stuff exists there too.
Yes, it does. I have. If you go to Taz, you can, and you look through the list of some of them. We actually have probably, I'm just guessing, somewhere around 10 to 15% of them are non-public schools teachers that we've got in there.
Yep, and I'm gonna guess, just my instinct, that they brush things under the carpet a lot faster and a lot more securely than the public schools, because they are relying in many time on boosters and, donations as opposed to state support. Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it's a big problem. And then, I'm thinking about what you're doing, and it's so amazing. But then you've got like the whole other side of it, where it's not even the teachers, it's the fathers and the mothers, that are doing this, right? How do you, it's a
this is the reason I started all these sites, and it grew one thing after another. And it's like, it all started from a comment my news person made to someone back in September of 2025. Somebody asked, it's like, well, how are we supposed to know about this stuff? And my news person responded, well, somebody would have to build a site dedicated to tracking all this. And that's when it hit me. It's just like, well, wait a minute. I know how to build sites. I know how to aggregate things clearly. And thus Taz.NEWS was born. So it started from there. And then, there's a handful of people I interact with on Twitter who also deal with CPS stuff. And I'm like, well, would one of you be interested if I made a CPS site? They're like, absolutely. So we track, on the CPS site, we track not only like foster parents, we track adoptive parents, the agencies, the CPS people, the administrative law judges. We track all those people in the system as well. So it's like we're building a collection there. And like I said, the civil servant accountability site, we're tracking kind of like the rest that don't fit into those other two categories, which need to be separate on their own.
Yeah.
That's where we get the federal, the state, and the local judges. The clergy, we have, I can't even count how many clergy we have in there already. It's crazy. We got firefighters, police, law enforcement of all nature, doctors, nurses, therapists, psychologists. I'm just trying to think of all the kind. It's a very broad range of people, and I say they work in the public trust because they're helping. Not that they're necessarily public entities like public schools are, but you expect to. There's a reasonable expectation. You can go to a doctor or a therapist or a firefighter, police officer, whomever, and expect a certain level of morality because of their job. And what we're finding out is, no, these people are just as much assholes as people in schools and people in CPS.
Yeah.
And so that's really all of it right there in a nutshell. Is we just want to show the public, it's like, here's who's in your area. I mean, the current stat for U.S. I don't remember if it's public schools or all schools, but any child, at least in a public school, has a 10% chance of being sexually groomed. And that number is way too high.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, 10%. I mean, think about that, 10%. So if you have a classroom of 20 children, 2 of those children are statistically likely to be sexually groomed in school.
Wow.
That's
Well,
nuts.
off the top of my head, I don't know if you know Mark Abrahams. He had a chat. He's very dedicated to saving the children, and he works with a number of organizations. He's based in Florida. In fact, he had a podcast, which his channel is Fake News 7 New York, and we actually took over his show because he's devoting his time full time now to the efforts of the children. But he sounds like someone you should know because of the organizations and the reach that they have to start to be aware of what you're aggregating. And is there links on the Q site, aggregating site, where people can link to these other sites? Because you've got people that are aware, you know what I mean, that go to
Yep.
that, like a targeted market already.
I do not have any links on QAGG, just because I wanted to keep them separate. I mean, that's a choice, because some people shy away from Q stuff. And if they find out it came from a Q site, a lot of people are still too brainwashed to understand that. So I deliberately kept them separate.
You're right.
Yeah.
Right. So we got to just educate the Q community about that site, because they're going to embrace the other way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just looking here how many visitors we've had at Taz today. I mean, it's the traffic has steadily grown. So we've had 305 people visit in the last 24 hours, which is up. I mean, when we first started, we were getting like 10 people a day. Now we're getting 300 people a day, which is good, which means more people are using it. And it's kind of interesting, because we actually have had a few teachers reach out, to like either modify or take down their record because of circumstances. And in most cases, I'm willing to take it down. The oddest one was a guy wrote in, and not to have his record taken down. He just wanted to correct it in that he was not convicted. He took a plea deal.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, there's literally a list of heinous things this guy did against children. He wasn't concerned about that being taken down. He just wanted to make it clear, no, I had taken a plea deal.
Wow.
I mean, so it's like, that's how brazen some of these people are. They don't care that this information's out there, that, yes, they did harm to a child. They only care to make sure it's 100% accurate, which is, I mean, it's a fair case. But to write for that correction and not, nothing else, it's just stunning to me, the level of, I don't know what you call that, egotism.
Sociopathy, I would call it. Sociopathy.
Well, yes, that too. So, I mean, that just kind of gives a look into the mindset. Now, the other nice thing about all of these, the 3 sites that track things, you as an individual can submit up to 5 links a day of news articles, or direct link to court records if such a thing exists, for a case if you don't see it in the system. So, like, if you know somebody in your local school district, submit the link. We'll bring it to the system, evaluate it, and we'll publish it if it contains valid information.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, look, the way these people have managed to get away with it for so long is because they've put people in positions of power in all these organisations, schools, courts, police, and stuff like that. So it's amazing the work you're doing to get rid of this. And I just want to say, if you don't know Mark Abrahams, he used to do the show with Dave News Treason, and our Monday show, Respect Now, is all about dedicated to victims of child trafficking and all these sorts of things. And we really love doing it.
If you can put me in touch with both of these people, I'm more than happy to reach out.
Yeah, Michelle and Mark.
I mean, because if there's one thing I'm good at, is it's building technological solutions around things that need help.
Brilliant.
So it's like it was funny. As soon as I opened up subscriptions for my X account, somebody posted the Q drop about Patriots, Patriots. And I'm like, at that point, I'd had like 50 grand invested in all this. And I had, at the time I opened subscriptions, I had literally not taken a dime from anyone. And it wasn't until a couple weeks ago, and I was being flippant about the AI bill. I've been paying this on my own for many, many months now. I was just being flippant. It's like, oh yeah, my bill was $1,600 last month because of all the work I'm doing. And people are like, what? We got to help you. So I immediately got a bunch of donations, and I'm like, what do I do with this? And that became QAGG.NEWS. and it's become so much more. I'm getting ready to publish another big thread, and I'll just tease it a little bit. I specifically dug through the finances as best I could with public records on all of the 501c3 organizations in and around the Save the Children space, anti-trafficking groups, that sort of thing, adoption agencies. And I've got it under review right now by somebody else, just to make sure I didn't screw something up, misstate something incorrectly. So hopefully in the next few days, I'll have a thread out about the 501c3s that operate in this Save the Children space, because there are some eye-opening things in there. Like organizations who most of the incoming donations go to the officers. There was one organization that actually paid 113% of incoming donations to the like one person.
Are you kidding?
No. And it's like, sometimes it's a one-time thing. Like somebody did a bunch of work, so the organization, it's fairly clear by the history of that organization that, okay, it was like one-time payment. So somebody must have done something really big, and then it drops off. The other organizations, there's one that has a sustained pattern of paying their people. I think it's like 60% of incoming donations, their officers, for like 8 years, 9 years. Like since the organization started, the officers get most of the money, and the rest of the money, we don't know where it goes.
Wow. Well, Stu and I have talked about this a lot, and there are some, patriots, Patriots, that are doing the work and doing everything. And fortunately or unfortunately, we made this choice, right?
Yep.
And we know it's not like getting, a full-time job in corporate America where you're going to have benefits and salary coming in and everything. And that's okay. But there comes a point where, yes, if people donate, we don't force anyone, but even when there's subscriptions, you have to live and there's a fine line. But I think at some point, people, I think, respect and understand that if you're putting a lot of time and if you're serving the public in some way, and nobody's forcing you to do anything, right? It's all a choice, what you want to do, what you want to support, that's how ultimately we do make money, so that we can, like you, start to make this the full-time job, as opposed to like, well, it fits into the nooks and crannies of the day. And, but I do think that those that are strictly what I would consider patriots, PAY, I think you can sort of, your discernment tells you whose heart is in it and who's doing it just for the money. And we just have to rely on that. Every group, like you said, there's always assholes. So, you know.
Yeah. 117%. Right. Let's get into this then. I'll just show these very quickly, because Phil does say, if you're a beginner, a couple of the better sites you can go on is QAlerts.app. And these drops look very similar to what they look like in the QMAT.pub that got taken down. Or you've got QAnon.pub. And this is really interesting, because a lot of these drops have got an answer section in the bottom right, which will talk you through the drop, which is really good for people just getting into this now and want to learn. But Phil's site, QAGG.NEWS, and also on your Twitter, nothing can stop what is coming.news, takes you to the same site as well, doesn't it? So
yeah, I mean that's because my main site name has been banned since the end of it was either the end of 2019 or the beginning of 2020. Twitter banned all the Q site links.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't post anything. I've had my eighth Facebook account is still active, but I can't get into it. So I use Elisa's account to update our Patriots Across the Pond Facebook group. And I went to post that you were coming on the other day, and because it had QAGG.NEWS in there, wouldn't allow it at all. So I had to put a space between the period, both sides, and then upload it. Arseholes they are still.
Yeah, but I want to just say one thing, just because it's timely. I do believe, this is my personal opinion, when this all happened, 2021, you know, we all got kicked off and everything like that. And we were angry and we were pissed. And what did we do? We became very resourceful. You know, of course, there was Telegram, whatever. I do think that a lot of this is white hat operation. And I think on the one hand, it's to not reveal the end of the movie. But I also think, and this is sort of maybe the coach, you know, the life and health coach coming out in me, the mom coming out. It's like, when you have adversity, and they've put so much adversity to us patriots, we find a way and we become more creative and we become more. And I think that's what's also happened. It's like, really, you're going to be digital, you're going to be soldiers, right? We didn't go to boot camp the way real soldiers do, but that was like our boot camp, and figuring out how to like not give up. Like, who are the real people in this? And obviously you and, you know, people in the community, we've just said, nope, that's just one more obstacle we're not going to let get in the way. So I see it a little differently with the years that have passed, and it's caused us to really have to rise and like show who we are.
Yeah, and there's two drops in particular, I think, as well, that teaches us to camouflage and stop references to this, that, and everything else. We've all found ways around it to share the information, but you know, one of the reasons we've all been banned so much and had so many accounts shut down. So, Phil, this is your site. It's brilliant. When you go on it, the drops come up in reverse order, 4966. I think the easiest thing I can teach people, if you just click the sort button, it swaps the order and takes you back to the start, October the 28th, 2017. And yeah, amazing. Where would you like to go, sir?
Well, I mean, okay, if you're somebody who's just starting to learn like decode and digging, probably the biggest thing is the deltas. So if you go into the digging menu, the first two options are probably the most important. You've got, you know, the show the deltas and show the reply deltas. So if you just check both of those, you can see that up pops on the screen. It's like from drop 1 to drop 2, there's a calculation of time. Okay, because one of the things Q told us is timestamps are important, so people obviously naturally gravitated to this. Now, the interesting thing here is like, it's not just between post to post. If you look at drop number 1 there, you can see that there's an inner calculation, and that's the calculation between the reply, Q's reply to that post. So you basically can do it post to post, or you can do it inside to the replies as well. It's a full calculation. It's been verified accurate by more people I can count at this point. It has never been wrong to my knowledge since I put it out there. And that was the first thing I did is give people delta calculation. Yep. Now, where it gets interesting is if you go up into feeds, all the way on the right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so here's where you can access all the other stuff that the site aggregates, which is basically a bunch of selected accounts on Twitter and a bunch of selected accounts on Truth Social.
Yeah.
Now, if on the Twitter side there, you go select Trump and Trump deleted, and then scroll to the bottom and hit save.
Save selection.
Yep.
Yeah.
There's all of Trump's tweets, and guess what? The deltas work there as well.
Well,
the deltas also work when you're searching for something. So if you type in any search term, it'll calculate the distance between any of the posts that come up on the site. So it's an automatic feature. It makes things simple.
Yeah.
So that's probably the first big thing right there is just the deltas. I'm trying to think what else is important for people here. Well, because believe it or not, I don't spend a lot of time on this site anymore because I've got all these other things going.
Yeah, I bet you do. I can just say to people, if anyone needs to find a certain drop, you've just got to put a hashtag and the drop number you're looking for. Obviously, that will bring it up once all those digging options are under the feeds are unticked, aren't they? Because
right. Well, I mean, you can actually search drop numbers directly. You don't have to put the hashtag. You see the box on the search box on the right that says drop number search.
Yeah.
You can just type numbers in there and put commas or dashes if there's a suite of them that you want. So just for fun, put in 1000, 2000 2003. No, in the box on the right.
Oh, they're here.
Drop. Yes, over there.
So
type in 1000,
2000,
2003. All right. What's going on there? That's interesting. I've never seen that happen before. Let me verify that something isn't broken there.
Okay.
Usually people tell me if things are broken. All right. Let me get my numbers here. I'm doing this on my tablet here. 2000. Where's the dash? 3. Okay, it worked for me. Oh, you know what? It took it on the wrong side. Type it in the right-hand side, right box again.
What, here?
Yep, just type it there because you had it in both.
Right.
Right. Okay. 1000, comma.
Confused.
2000 dash and then 2003.
3. Yep.
Okay. Enter.
There we go.
There you go. See?
Right.
So you can search any drop number, and all of Trump's posts are labeled with a P. So if you typed in P1, you'd bring up Trump's first tweet, so on and so forth. So like everything in the system is numbered.
Yeah.
And searchable. And as you can see, it's like the deltas come up between everything. You'll notice that there's a gold bar there on that one post.
Yeah.
That indicates you've crossed some boundary of days. It can be 1 day or 10 days, 100 days, doesn't matter. It's indicating that the posts before it are on a separate day. So it's a visual indicator that you've crossed the day boundary.
Yeah.
Now, another interesting thing that people like to do is deltas. So if you click on the calendar, the button with the calendar, it looks like a triangle. That's actually the Greek symbol for delta.
What, here?
Yep, that one.
Yeah.
No, not that calendar. It says calendar. It's calendar in a triangle.
Middle.
Oh, there.
Okay, so if you scroll through this list, you'll notice a bunch of these numbers are highlighted.
Yeah.
The ones that are highlighted are all days with drops on them.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So you can pick any one individually and see all the drops on that day.
Let's put that one there.
And why don't you go into feeds and turn off Trump's posts? But actually, hang on, scroll back up. You can see that some of the Q drops are interspersed with Trump's posts because of the timing.
Yeah, it's got that's good. It's got 6 drops and 35 X posts. So that's great information there.
So I mean that's the whole reason I started aggregating all of these other posts is because you could see where things show up in relation to Trump or Scavino. I started collecting Scavino later than I did Trump. You can actually just go to the bottom. There's a clear all, and then you can save. But there you go. So there's all the posts for a specific day.
Yeah, perfect. Now I was just going to ask you something here.
One that says, yeah,
I've got.
You don't have to put a hashtag in that field.
3949.
Don't put the hashtag in that field. You just type the number.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, I've already done it. Searching. Yeah. There we go. Right. So if I want to personally search for a drop, say 3949, but I want to also have it bring up with the drops the other side of it, you know what I mean? The drops before and the drops after. What do I need to type in a search for that?
Well, you don't need to type a search. If you bring up that drop, you see next to the wrench icon in the upper right of that post?
There.
That 2 arrows, click that.
Wow.
That brings up, I think it's like 6 drops on either side of it. I don't remember how many it is, but.
Yeah, I mean, that's perfect. That saved me a lot of time. Yeah, for sure.
Now, another fun one, the 4 arrows next to the 2 dashes that you just created gives you all the permutations on that drop number. So if you click that, and it'll give you all the variations of that drop number converted into other drop numbers. So you can see if something's relevant by that way. I make no judgment calls. I just give people tools that make things easy. That might be possibilities for things.
Yeah. Oh, that's superb.
So, go ahead.
I just wanted to go back to that one drop because I think we've got a Twitter link now which I think is from an account suspended.
Yes.
So have you got
Look at the click on the little box next to it. I've basically archived all the tweets behind all of those links. So if they're dead, you still have access to what that original tweet showed.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow, that's amazing.
And if you ever stumble on a YouTube link that has the little, like video icon next to it, that's a YouTube video I managed to archive because the original link is dead. Like 2 months ago, I spent, the better part of a day and I rescued, I think it was like 21 of 29 missing videos. And I actually have all of those 21 posted on my Rumble channel, with drop numbers, so you can reference them and find them easily on my channel. So if there's ever a question, you ever run into one of those, I've got them both on Rumble and on my site.
Wow.
So I've archived a lot of stuff that's missing. There's a handful of documents also that went missing that I was able to find as well. And you'll see a similar little box link next to them indicating I've got the archive of that.
Phil, I was wondering, not to get too deep, but if you could go along the search bar, just in a couple of words, what each drop down is, like digging, options, sort, just to give like an overview of what you, without going too deep, like, what it is that the option. We went through the calendar with the Delta already. You did deltas.
Can I just ask, where's the clear all section? Take you back to the start.
Just click QAGG or home.
Oh, there. Perfect.
That'll take you back to the beginning.
Perfect.
So basically the digging menu has a variety of options. You've got things in there. A lot of times people are searching with drops for images. They only want drops where Q isn't replying to anybody. That's where all of these options are exposed. I show the EXIF data for any images that Q has dropped, or anybody else that's in the system on one of the feeds. If they've got images, I expose the EXIF information because you never know where comms could show up.
Right.
So that's the digging menu. The sort we've already covered. The deltas drop down basically gives you today's deltas, yesterday's deltas, and tomorrow's deltas. So you can look at, how many years ago, what drops were present today, yesterday or tomorrow.
Yeah. And it says 18 drops for today. And I mean, this is fantastic. I mean, in the earlier days, we were missing deltas and we were all date fagging and telling people what was going to happen. But, now 8 and 9 years later, looking at the deltas each and every day is just a major part of this, because so much is being hit, isn't it?
Well, and more is being hit more recently, too. I mean, there's been a lot of interesting things that have lined up, quote unquote, coincidentally, like this past year, especially.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely. And you've got the zero box here.
So the zero delta box, we'll do that one. So click the POTUS button, and then go click the search hourglass up on the search bar there. And it'll take a minute to bring this up. So what this does is, what became known as the zero delta is Q would post, and then in less than a minute, Trump would post. Okay, so this is literally the physical representation of all those zero deltas. So what you'll see here is every Q post will be followed by a Trump post, or in some cases, multiple Trump posts within a minute.
Yeah.
So you can see all those directly, as opposed to having to rely on some other means of doing that.
Wow, that's amazing.
So the next button is the calendar delta. We covered that. Theme, you can change the color and font by selecting a theme. The DST indicator is saying whether or not we're inside daylight savings time right now or not, just so you can be aware of that from a systemic perspective.
Yeah.
Now, the time zone is the interesting one. And I this broke a little while ago and I have to fix it. But basically, you can select your time zone. So if you want to view them in a different time, you can pick a different time zone.
Yeah.
The next button is kind of an interesting one because, at various points, people have suggested, oh, we might be operating on a Julian calendar. We might be operating on the Hebrew calendar. So I built a number of calendars into the system. So you could literally, so if you just click the Hebrew calendar, because it gives you interesting things. So give it a second, because what it's going to do is reload everything. And then if you go look at the timestamp and the date on the post, you'll notice that it's no longer the typical calendar. It's using the Hebrew calendar names and dates.
Wow.
Oh, wow. Wow, that's crazy.
I don't know. Like I said, I don't know if it's useful to anybody. I put it there just because I could.
This whole operation is so crazy and full of nuances. Who the heck knows, right?
Yep, exactly. So the next button, you can turn the Q drops themselves off if you want to by clicking that. So that'll just turn them off completely. They'll still show, yeah, and as you can see, they're now turned off, so they don't show up in the list.
Yeah.
Don't forget to turn that back on, because I had people, and one of the reasons why the toolbar looks the way it does now, it used to look different, is because some people would accidentally click the Q drops button and turn them off and wonder where all their drops went.
Oh,
Okay, and now probably one of the more important ones is the feeds, which we kind of already covered a little bit.
yeah.
Now, do me a favor, check the ones for Trump on True Social, because there's another feature I want to demonstrate here.
What, both of them?
Yeah. And save that. All right. What are the search terms? Oh, actually, up in the post number box.
Is that one?
Yep. Type TT 33813, I think it is.
That's a Trump True Social post, isn't it?
Nah, it's not the right run. Try TT 38813.
What did you say? Say that again.
38813.
Now, hang on. I've actually got something written down here, which is, I think I took down from your Rambo show, which is TT 18818, I think.
That's the one. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm remembering. I have too many numbers in my head.
18818. I think that's right, if I can see correctly. Yeah.
Yep, that's the one.
Good. I'm glad I've got a bit of pen and a bit of paper. Yeah.
Yep, this is the one. So one of the other features I added, just because I saw people doing this a lot on 8chan, is people would strip out the capital letters and potentially find messaging in those.
Yeah.
So if you see the little A in a circle up there, in the upper right, click on that. And you can see I pull out all the capital letters. Now in this case, it's kind of an interesting one because it's all capital letters. So if you scroll down further, what you'll find is I've removed every capital letter that appears more than once. So keep going down. Now you see the only capital letter removed or left after all the duplicates have been removed is the letter Q.
Yeah.
Okay. So to me, that's no coincidence, because I actually did the odds of any set of statements reducing down to just the letter Q. And the percentage chance of this happening is like 0.0016% or something crazy like that. So this is not something naturally occurring.
Right.
Nothing is
okay. And by the way, this is the only Trump post to date that the letter Q appears as the only letter when all the other duplicate capital letters are stripped away. This is the only one. So, you wonder why people started looking at capital letters. That's one of the primary reasons why.
Yes.
It's crazy. And the fact that you've been able to put a site together that does so much of the decoding and the options to do this is just so remarkable.
Well, I mean, and that was the whole principle. What I wanted to do was give people tools that didn't necessarily do the decoding work for them.
Right.
But made the decoding work 100 times faster in some cases.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
And I collect all the graphics. So, if there's something from Too Social, a video or a post there, you can download it. Same thing goes for Twitter. You can grab all of these graphics and stuff directly because I copy them onto my system. So if Dan Scavino posts a video that you want, inside the little window on my site for that video is a download button.
Wow.
Yeah.
It kind of leaves you speechless, I have to tell you, because not only the work that you put in, but the thought process that you used. And then it's like you've put together an unbelievable historical document.
Yeah. And for those people who want to have stuff at their fingertips locally, if you go into the site menu, go down to where it says download QDrop single PDF. This will take a minute to load. But this is all of the drops with all of the images, fully searchable. And I've verified it does download and work on phones.
Really?
Yes. So the reason I say give it a while is it's like a 400 megabyte file. But this is all of the drops in a single PDF.
Downloading. Yeah, I have downloaded all the drops before, but not off your site, so this is great.
So there you have a full reference to all the drops, and that, as long as you keep copies everywhere, it can't be destroyed.
There you go, and that's done. That's what 145 megabytes that says.
Okay, I knew it was big. I didn't remember how big.
Wow.
Yeah. I also did this in ebook format for those people who want to use like an e-reader.
Yeah.
So it'll work in things like Kindle and whatnot.
Oh my goodness. Wow.
That's also in the menu. So it's like I provide a variety of ways. It's all there. Have fun with it.
Download ebook. I see that. Wow.
And if you're technically oriented, you can download quote unquote the full site. Basically, what I did is I created something that you basically put into a directory on your computer. It works on Mac, Linux, or Windows. And you open up the index file and it opens your web browser, but except it's completely local. And you can do most of the same searches on the drops. It's got all the images and everything else. It's basically a local copy of my aggregator.
Yeah. This is amazing. And just quickly, I'll hover above these. You got the chess pieces there.
So if you click on that, if you remember QMap, this should look familiar. This is QMap's player list, faithfully recreated because a bunch of people had all the information saved.
Wow.
So I don't change anything on here because some people had a theory that Q started using this players list as reference, hidden references here and there.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true or not, but I was able to reproduce the list so people could have it for the reference just in case.
What's interesting, like player list, and then it makes me think of, I think, is it IMDb? If I'm saying that right? You go on there and so many of them have an IMDb page, right? It's crazy.
Exactly. And then the next one is all of the videos I archived, as well as a scattering of other videos as well. I've saved. Oh, is it broken?
So these are specifically videos.
I think my computer's not the fastest thing on the planet. My laptop's about 17 times faster, my new laptop, but it does while I'm sitting in the cockpit here. But
so the first batch of videos, is now all the ones I rescued. You can see they're labeled with Q drop number.
Yeah.
So those are all the rescued videos, and then there's a scattering of other videos I've collected over the years.
Yeah.
I posted with Joe M's permission. I've got all of his videos archived here as well.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
And then just a couple more bits along there. You got the.
What else do I have up there?
You got a bell icon there.
Oh, notifications. So if you go there, you can actually get notifications on your phone or your desktop web browser now.
Yeah.
So if you go here with your phone, first, for Apple users, you have to install it on the homepage like an app.
Yeah.
But then you can come in here and you can click to subscribe for notifications, so you can see when Trump posts Untruth. And should another Q drop ever shine up, you'll get a notification in the standard push notification method of your phone.
Okay.
And the reason I did this is because there's no way to get a Q app in either of the app stores anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. And
So
then,
I found a way around their notification systems and published it.
Wow.
wow. Well, that's amazing. I mean, the best thing for, obviously, if you do a PDF at any time, I'll quite happily pay you $17 or whatever you want to charge for that, so I can have it here and flick through it. And it's, you know, I'm not much of a reader personally, but I've bought quite a few books over the last 6 years as a reference library in case we ever have any book burning or anything like this, because we are all part of this massive Great Awakening journey, and everyone's going to have a superb collection of stuff, you know, when we come out the other side of this, for sure.
No, the PDF will be out there for free on the website. I don't charge for stuff. I mean, if people want to support me, that's their choice. I don't push it. I don't try and sell it hard. I'm just like, if you like what I do and you choose to support me, here's the ways. Well, and hopefully by the end of today, on my, I guess you could say, other aggregator sites, the ones that track teachers and all that, I will have a donation link there.
Yeah.
Because those are the ones I'm really most interested in supporting right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Well, once you've done the PDF, I'll give you a donation anyway. I'll be very happy to do that. You know, I mean, Elisa and I, we most of us work for free in this movement, and you know, we'd never charge anyone for anything we do. But if people want to donate, that's down to them. You know, thank you very much. Sort of thing. Now, if we've pretty much gone through that. I think the best thing for people to do is just get involved, get on the site, and just have a play with it yourself and go about. The best way to learn is to teach yourself really on any of these things. But
yeah, and don't be afraid to click things. Okay, you can always go into your browser, get rid of all the site data, reset it all back to normal if you can't figure out what you did.
Right.
I mean, that's the biggest thing I advocate is go play. I've had several friends tell me that they actually use this as their own personal curated news site now, because if you've got feeds turned on, it'll tell you when new ones come in.
Yeah, and I mean, this is especially amazing for people that are not on True Social and Twitter and stuff as well, isn't it? To have all this availability in one place.
Yeah,
and that was the goal, is to give everybody kind of a look at it. It was interesting because one of my friends, Beer at the Parade, I think it was like 6 months ago, he said, dude, you have no idea how much you changed the way we dig because I added all these other things to the site.
Yeah.
And I literally had no idea, because I intentionally keep myself, for lack of a better word, dumb to a lot of the daily goings on of people, because that's my way of avoiding being unduly influenced by things.
Yeah.
Just because one person is digging in this way, I don't want to be unduly influenced by that, and I don't have a lot of time to watch shows. I mean, if I'm not working my day job, I'm doing something for one of the other sites nowadays. I mean, over the past 10 days, I've literally spent, I don't know, an easy 80 hours digging into 501c3s.
Wow.
So it's like that's what I do with my time now, and it's interesting. I actually find myself kind of jonesing for more things to build or more things to research at this point.
Yeah.
If I've kicked off a research project, I've got things going on, and I don't have something else active to do, either at work or for this, I find myself like, boy, this is what boredom feels like, and I don't like it.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then you have 2 kids too, so you got that too, right?
Yeah, I've got a whole family here. Yes, so I mean, yes, I spend time with them. I do everything a good parent should.
Right.
I just pour an immense amount of time into this stuff because I think it's important.
Yeah.
To spotlight a lot of what's going on.
Yeah, you have a calling and a gift, and it's serving the world, really. So I want to encourage everyone on X and Truth Social. You could follow Phil.
Well, I just want to say one more thing as well, because obviously we spent the first 30 minutes talking about the teacher accountability. So I did have the TAS.NEWS. So if you just want to show us anything on here quickly, Phil, before you go. That would be
probably the biggest thing I can show is if you scroll up to the interactive maps button, click on that.
Yeah.
And then just click on the United States because it paints the best picture right now. We got 5 countries in there, just because we're tracking. So it's like you can see a breakdown of where we've got the most cases shown right now. And then if you click on the pin map button up top there next to the states view, down right there. Now you can zoom to an area of the map and see where things are specifically. You know, the bubbles expand into local districts.
Wow. I'm just
goodness.
having a look at this. I'm trying to find, because Elisa's in Long Island, aren't you? So, wait, is that Long Island there?
That's Long Island right there. Yes, right in the center. So there you go. You can see all the cases that appear in those areas. And you can click on those dots and it'll bring up a search of who those people are.
And we're looking right now, teacher, right? Teachers.
Yes.
Okay.
This is the teacher system. Yes.
Wow.
So there's all the teachers in wherever that is, Long Island.
And these are the ones that have not such good things that they've done, correct?
Yes. They'll only be in the system if they've done something wrong.
You know, it's interesting because I think in this whole situation, we always think of men, right?
Oh, there's a lot of women in here. I mean, you know, people say, "Oh, this is all child crimes." No, this is anything that's been reported about a teacher. There's a female principal in here.
Yeah.
I forget where she was, but not only was she drunk driving, she did a hit and run.
Oh my God.
And it's like, well, why are they in there? I'm like, well, that shows judgment that might not be the best judgment. So do you necessarily want that person being the principal of your school at this point?
Judgment. It also shows a lack of morality if you're doing a hit and run.
Well, that too. Yes.
So you're going to really care about the students if you don't care about someone you just hit with your car? I don't know.
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's how the sites work. All of them have the same maps for the US. And in the case of the teacher one, we've got maps for the UK and Canada and all that stuff. It's just cases are harder to find in other countries, but we've had enough requests that I added those other 4 countries. So we cover the UK, Canada, New Zealand, and Australia.
Okay.
That's perfect. So where's the best place for people to go to find out all your sites? Obviously QAGG.NEWS for the drops and truth and stuff, but to find out all your TAS.NEWS and the other ones you're building, where can people find all this information?
They can find, I mean, I've got it all listed on X at QAGG.NEWS, you know, like it says on my little name card there.
Okay.
I should probably update my True Social one so it's got all of them because they give me a little more room there. But if you go to Taz, just Taz alone, either at the top if you're on a desktop browser, or you scroll to the bottom if you're on a mobile device, all the sites are actually listed there.
Okay.
On each site.
Oh,
so on Taz.News, you can see the little bar, and then at the bottom, you've also got the other ones listed there.
Perfect. Wow.
Wow. Well, there you go, people. TAS.News and all the information is there, and QAGG.NEWS if you want to really get involved and have a good dig about and a play, because
and we will connect you with those people. We'll get you their information and do some introductions, because it sounds like a good synergy with
I mean, it's the more people I can help, and you know, if there's one thing I try and advocate it, it's like I'm an expert on how to use AI to do all the stuff they don't want AI doing.
Right.
Good.
And that's the way I see my mission. It's like before AI, like the Taz site alone would have taken me like 6 months to build, and instead I built it in 6 days. You know, that's what AI does for somebody like me. And now I'm using it to do like extensive research, because you know I've done statistics before, I've done data aggregation before in my real world jobs. So I guess it just kind of came natural that I'd start doing stuff like this.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Absolutely brilliant work. Lovely to come on, and keep up the good work. And there's a lot going on, Phil, isn't there? And you know, are we going to see Tulsi Gabbard drop a lot of stuff this month? It's exciting times, so we've all got.
Very. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, and I'm glad I could help you out, and I'm happy to be here.
Sir, where we go, when we go all.
Same to you. Take it easy.
Cheers, guys. See you later. Thank you. Right, there we go.
Wow.
Absolutely amazing, man. I forgot to ask him where people could donate, but I'm sure if you
probably on the site, like if you go to the site, I'm sure there's on the TAS.
I did look on his Twitter to start, but yeah, I think there was a GoFundMe link. I know they put it out. Beer at the Parades put it out and that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's brilliant. So there we go. Everyone loved that in the chat. What a great guy. And we're back tomorrow, aren't we? It's been a nice sort of quietish week this week, hasn't it? Of sorts.
Yeah.
And then busy again next week. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So tomorrow we got Red Pilling Renee at 8 a.m. Eastern, 1 o'clock
For
UK.
me. Yeah.
And no family chat this week. We're off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's it, isn't it? Right. Love you all. Thank you, Bukes, in the chat. Hopefully we'll see you for Renee tomorrow. And take care.
Yeah. Have a great day, everyone.
Eyes on. Where we go, when we go all.
Maybe they're foolish, or maybe they're blind, thinking we couldn't do this, but the deep state is dying. The media screws us, so baby we're crying. Cause we're only human, not cabal. We're only human, watching them fall. They'll put the blame on me. They'll put the blame on me. Take a look at the media, what do you see? Do you eat what they feed you to keep you deceived in what you believe? Cause we're only human, we have it all. We're only human, let the hammer fall. Ain't no conspiracy. They'll put the blame on me. Swamp people got the real problems. Swamp people out of luck. Swamp creatures thinking they can stall us, but God's watching above. Cause we're only human, we open the door. We're only human, if you wanna know more, rather chat with me. The truth will set you free. Cause we're only human, making it rain. We're only human, and bringing the pain. Put the blame on me. Ain't no conspiracy. Cause I'm no prophet or Messiah. I'm just another midnight rider. Cause we're only human, we're having a ball. We're only human, catching them all. Ain't no conspiracy. They'll put the blame on me. We're only human, trust in the plan. We are the women, children and men. Don't you know we're the key? Now we the people we can see.